Welcome to TV Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: Gwyneth Paltrow uses her Oscar as a doorstop, it works perfectly. For All the Dogs by Drake review, keeping creativity on a leash. Clan War review, the agony after Appomattox. First part of final season to be released on November 16th. The Crown final series to be split into two. Gwyneth Paltrow uses her Oscar as a doorstop, it works perfectly. The Independent. In a recent video interview for Vogue's 73 Questions series, Gwyneth Paltrow revealed that she uses her Oscar trophy as a doorstop in her garden. Paltrow won the Academy Award for Best Actress in 1999 for her role in Shakespeare in Love, which was considered a major upset at the time. Paltrow reflected on the win, saying that it caused an identity crisis and led her to question where to go next. She also discussed the criticism she faced for crying on stage during her acceptance speech, noting that her father was sick with cancer at the time. For All the Dogs by Drake review, keeping creativity on a leash. Wall Street Journal. Drake's new album, For All the Dogs, is a reminder of his continued popularity, but also highlights his lack of innovation. The album focuses on failed relationships, with Drake refusing to take any blame. While this theme has been present throughout his career, it is starting to seem strange considering his age. The album's strongest tracks are those where Drake focuses on rappers who would challenge him. Overall, the album is one of Drake's weakest, but his popularity is still easy to understand as it is an extension of his well-known brand. Clan War review, the agony after Appomattox. Wall Street Journal. The Reconstruction period in American history, following the Civil War, was a time of great violence and tragedy. In his book Clan War, Ulysses S. Grant and the Battle to Save Reconstruction, Fergus Bordwich focuses on the late 1860s and 1870s, and the rise of the Ku Klux Klan. After the Civil War, freed black people were elected to local and federal offices and voted in large numbers, giving the Republican Party control over the South. However, white Southerners were not willing to accept the Republican rule, and as a result, the Ku Klux Klan was formed. This organization committed brutal acts of violence against black people, such as beatings, murders, and rape, in an attempt to intimidate voters and regain power for the Democrats. The Klan quickly evolved into a white supremacist organization, with a hierarchical structure. President Ulysses S. Grant launched a war on the Klan, despite pressures to end federal intervention in the South. His efforts, along with troops and prosecutors, disabled the Klan as a serious threat. However, the South eventually became a one-party fiefdom, with blacks reduced to virtual serfdom. Mr. Bordwich questions why Northern efforts to create a more just society in the South failed so badly, compared to the post-war occupations of Germany and Japan. First part of final season to be released on November 16th. The Guardian. Netflix has announced that the final season of The Crown will be released in two parts later this year. The first part of Season 6 will be released on November 16th, with the second part following on December 14th. The series, which depicts a fictionalized version of the British royal family, is based on historical events. The final season will cover the events surrounding the death of Princess Diana in 1997, as well as the premiership of Tony Blair and the early relationship between Prince William and Kate Middleton. The current queen, played by Imelda Staunton, is featured in a clip released by Netflix, reflecting on her duty as monarch. The Crown final series to be split into two. Telegraph. Netflix has announced that the final series of The Crown will be split into two parts, released a month apart. The first 4 episodes will focus on the relationship between Diana, Princess of Wales and Dodi Fayed, while the second chapter will depict the royal family coming to terms with their loss and the wider public fallout. The split-season model allows Netflix to generate sustained coverage and maximize viewing figures. The final episodes will look to a happier future, including the marriage of Charles and Camilla and the relationship between William and Kate. Daniel Radcliffe reveals his relatable parenting revelations. The Independent. Daniel Radcliffe has opened up about the challenges and rewards of being a first-time parent. The Harry Potter star revealed that caring for his son has been amazing but also frankly terrifying. He is learning a great deal about babies and has discovered that their sleeping patterns make no sense. Radcliffe said becoming a father has made him realize the power of forgiveness. He has been with his partner, Aaron Dark, for over a decade. John Cena apologizes to The Rock for criticizing his pivot to acting. The Independent. John Cena has admitted that he was wrong to publicly criticize Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's transition from WWE to acting. Cena, who had a fictional rivalry with Johnson in the wrestling franchise, initially shunned him for leaving the sport. However, Cena has since made a similar move into acting and now regrets his previous comments, acknowledging that he violated Johnson's trust and made allegations without knowing the full story. The two have since reconciled and Cena sees their feud as a learning experience. Molson Coors steps up stock buybacks as Bud Light boycott aids business. Wall Street Journal. Molson Coors has announced plans to repurchase $2 billion in shares over the next 5 years. The move could mark a sharp increase in the pace of buybacks for the brewery, which bought back $51.5 million in shares in 2022. The company stated that it aims to hold net debt to earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation and amortization below 2.5 times in the future. The Exorcist, Believer has possessed the box office, but is it any good? A movie critic weighs in. The Toronto Star. The Exorcist, Believer, a new legal sequel to The Exorcist, released in the UK on November 10, lacks urgency and is unpersuasive. The horror film, directed by David Gordon Green, lacks the ability to produce a sense of dread, despite an early creepy sequence of preteen girls performing mock spiritual rituals. Green's attempts to create a sense of continuity with the Exorcist franchise is incoherent and the movie lacks a sense of direction. Frasier returns to TV, but you don't need to be a superfan of the original to laugh at its jokes. The Toronto Star. Joe Cristalli, the co-showrunner and co-executive producer of the new Frasier sitcom, gained his position through a Twitter account he created 10 years ago. As a fan of Frasier, Cristalli used the account to post jokes and practice writing in the style of the show. When he read that Kelsey Grammer, the actor who played Frasier Crane, was interested in reviving the character, Cristalli sent a sample script and examples from his Twitter feed to Grammer's team. He was eventually hired as co-showrunner alongside Chris Harris. The new show stars Grammer as Frasier Crane, who has moved back to Boston and begun a new career as a professor at Harvard. Cristalli and Harris have sought to reference the original show subtly rather than shamelessly, and hope that the revival will provide a boost for the multicam format. The show is filmed in front of a live audience, and 2 episodes have been directed by James Burrows, who worked with Grammer on both Cheers and Frasier. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your friendly neighborhood Sixth Doctor here, bringing you another round of intriguing news from the 6 dimensions. Let's dive right in. First up, we have the talented Gwyneth Paltrow, who has revealed that she uses her Oscar trophy as a doorstop in her garden. Who knew that the highest honor in the film industry could also serve as a practical household item? Talk about multifunctional. Next, we have Drake's new album, For All the Dogs, which seems to be lacking in innovation. It's all about failed relationships, with Drake refusing to take any blame. Come on, Drake, we need some growth and self-reflection. Despite this, his popularity remains strong, as his well-known brand continues to resonate with fans. Moving on, we have a book review of Clan War, Ulysses S. Grant and the Battle to Save Reconstruction. Fergus Bordwich delves into the violent and tragic period of the Reconstruction era in American history, focusing on the rise of the Ku Klux Klan. It's a chilling reminder of the struggles faced by Black people during that time, and the failure of Northern efforts to create a just society in the South. In other news, Netflix has announced the release dates for the final season of The Crown. The season will be split into 2 parts, allowing for sustained coverage and maximum viewing figures. We can expect to see the events surrounding Princess Diana's death, Tony Blair's premiership, and the early days of Prince William and Kate Middleton's relationship. It's sure to be a royal treat. On a more personal note, Daniel Radcliffe has shared his experiences as a first-time parent. He finds it both amazing and frankly terrifying, a sentiment many parents can relate to. And let's not forget the power of forgiveness that he has discovered through fatherhood. Parenthood truly changes us in unexpected ways. In the world of wrestling, John Cena has made amends with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson after criticizing his transition to acting. Cena now realizes the error of his ways and sees their feud as a learning experience. It's nice to see a rivalry turn into a lesson in humility. Molson Coors is making moves in the stock market with plans to repurchase $2 billion in shares over the next 5 years. It's a bold move that could lead to increased shareholder value. Cheers to that. Now, let's talk movies. The Exorcist, Believer seems to have possessed the box office, but is it any good? According to one critic, it lacks the ability to produce a sense of dread and lacks direction. Looks like this sequel might not be living up to its predecessor's legacy. And finally, Frasier is making a comeback to TV, and you don't have to be a superfan of the original to enjoy its jokes. The new show's co-showrunner got his job through a Twitter account he created 10 years ago, showcasing his love for the show. Talk about the power of social media. That's all for today, folks. Remember, the 6th Doctor is always here to keep you entertained and informed. Now it's your turn to join the conversation. What are your thoughts on these news stories? Do you have any burning questions for me? Let's hear it. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.